Imagine stepping into a dense rainforest, the air thick with the scent of wet earth and the sound of chirping insects. You scan your surroundings, looking for signs of movement. But something is off. You feel watched, yet nothing seems out of place, until, suddenly, a branch that you thought was just part of a tree opens its eyes. A creature has been there the entire time, completely invisible to your untrained eye. This is the power of camouflage, one of the most incredible survival tactics in the animal kingdom. Across millions of years, evolution has fine-tuned the ability of animals to blend, deceive, and even transform to avoid detection by both predators and prey. But how does it work? What makes some animals almost undetectable? And is there a limit to nature's ability to hide in plain sight? Get ready, because today, we're unveiling the secrets of animal camouflage, nature's hidden artists. Camouflage isn't just about blending in, it's an intricate biological strategy that allows animals to manipulate how they're perceived by their environment. At its core, camouflage is a defense mechanism that has evolved in response to predatory pressure and survival challenges. Some animals use camouflage to evade detection, while others weaponize it to ambush unsuspecting prey. The ability to disappear into the surroundings requires a mix of biological adaptations, behavioral strategies, and environmental factors. And while some creatures are born with built-in camouflage, others develop it over time as they age, molt, or even change with the seasons. There are 4 primary types of camouflage: concealing coloration, disruptive coloration, mimicry, and active camouflage. Concealing coloration allows animals to match their backgrounds almost perfectly. A snowshoe hare, for example, changes from brown to white in winter, making it virtually invisible in the snow. Disruptive coloration works differently, it breaks up an animal's outline using bold patterns and irregular markings. Tigers, zebras, and even some fish use this technique to confuse the eyes of predators. Then there's mimicry, an advanced form of deception where animals evolve to look like something else entirely. Some insects mimic leaves, sticks, or even bird droppings to avoid being eaten. Others, like the hawkmoth caterpillar, can inflate their bodies to resemble the head of a venomous snake. Finally, we have active camouflage, a jaw-dropping ability where animals change their appearance in real time. Cephalopods like octopuses and cuttlefish can shift colors, textures, and even shapes within seconds, allowing them to virtually disappear. But how do these mechanisms actually work? It all comes down to specialized cells and structures within the skin. For example, chromatophores in cephalopods contain different layers of pigments, while iridophores reflect light to create shifting hues. Some animals, like the peppered moth, rely on genetic adaptations, evolving different color patterns based on environmental changes. Others, such as certain deep-sea fish, use bioluminescence to camouflage against the ocean's shimmering light. One of the most interesting aspects of camouflage is how it's influenced by an animal's habitat and lifestyle. Creatures that live in forests tend to have earthy tones, while those in deserts develop sandy hues. Aquatic animals often use countershading, where their bodies are darker on top and lighter underneath, helping them disappear when seen from above or below. The level of camouflage an animal develops often determines its survival rate, making it a crucial element of natural selection. But camouflage isn't just a defensive tactic. In some cases, it's an offensive weapon. Predators like the scorpionfish remain completely hidden until the perfect moment to strike. Some spiders blend seamlessly into flower petals, waiting for insects to land right within their grasp. Even in the human world, military and stealth technology have drawn inspiration from these natural masters of disguise. But as advanced as human engineering is, nature remains the ultimate camouflage artist. Throughout nature, certain animals have taken camouflage to such extreme levels that they become nearly indistinguishable from their environments. These masters of disguise don't just blend in, they vanish. One of the most fascinating examples is the leaf-tailed gecko, found in Madagascar. Its body perfectly mimics the shape, color, and even texture of a dried, decaying leaf. With ragged edges and vein-like markings, it becomes nearly impossible to spot when clinging to tree bark. Even its eyes are adapted with camouflage patterns, making detection almost impossible. Another incredible camouflage expert is the Malaysian orchid mantis. Unlike most mantises, which rely on green or brown coloration, this species mimics the delicate pink and white hues of an orchid flower. To an unsuspecting pollinator, it looks like a harmless bloom, but the moment an insect lands, the mantis strikes with deadly precision. This ability allows it to become both invisible and an efficient predator at the same time. Moving into the bird world, few creatures rival the common patu in terms of camouflage. This nocturnal bird has evolved an appearance that makes it look like a broken tree branch when it remains still. During the day, the patu perches motionless with its head tilted upward, its cryptic plumage blending seamlessly with the tree bark. Even if a predator stares directly at it, the bird's camouflage is so effective that it remains completely unnoticed. But camouflage isn't limited to land. In the ocean, the warty frogfish is a true master of disguise. This strange, anglerfish-like predator can not only match its surroundings but also change its color over time. It blends so perfectly into coral reefs that even experienced divers struggle to spot it. It also has a lure-like appendage that dangles from its head, attracting small fish directly into its mouth. One of the most surreal examples of camouflage is the dead leaf butterfly. Found in Southeast Asia, this insect has evolved wings that, when closed, look exactly like a dried leaf, complete with veins, cracks, and even patches that resemble decay. When a predator approaches, the butterfly simply folds its wings and disappears into the forest floor, leaving nothing but the illusion of a fallen leaf. These masters of disguise have evolved their camouflage over thousands, sometimes millions, of years. Their ability to remain hidden in plain sight proves that nature is the greatest illusionist of all time. But while some creatures use camouflage passively, others take it a step further, actively changing their form at will. And no group does this better than the cephalopods. If there were a gold medal for camouflage, it would undoubtedly go to cephalopods, a group that includes octopuses, cuttlefish, and squids. These marine animals don't just blend into their surroundings, they become their surroundings. Unlike most animals that rely on static camouflage, cephalopods can change their color, texture, and even shape in real time. This ability is so advanced that even modern technology struggles to replicate it. But how do they do it? The secret lies in their skin, which is packed with specialized cells called chromatophores. These tiny pigment-filled sacs expand and contract, allowing the cephalopod to switch colors instantly. But that's not all. Beneath the chromatophores are iridophores and leucophores, which reflect and scatter light. These layers work together to create complex patterns, allowing the animal to match its surroundings with near-perfect accuracy. Some species, like the flamboyant cuttlefish, even use color changes to communicate, sending signals to potential mates or rivals. But cephalopods take camouflage even further with texture manipulation. Using muscle-controlled structures called papillae, they can raise or flatten sections of their skin to mimic the roughness of coral, the smoothness of sand, or the spiky appearance of seaweed. This means they don't just match the color of their surroundings, they match the physical shape as well. Imagine if a human could turn their skin into tree bark just by thinking about it. That's the level of camouflage cephalopods have achieved. One of the most mind-blowing examples is the mimic octopus, a species discovered in 1998 that takes deception to an entirely new level. Not only does it change color and texture, but it can also imitate the shapes and movements of other sea creatures. It can stretch out its arms to resemble the striped pattern of a venomous lionfish, slither along the ocean floor like a sea snake, or flatten its body to mimic a harmless flounder. This form of dynamic camouflage makes it one of the most adaptable tricksters in the animal kingdom. Even more impressive is how cephalopods see with their skin. Scientists have discovered that these animals have light-sensitive proteins in their skin cells, allowing them to detect and respond to changes in light without even using their eyes. This means that an octopus hiding among coral doesn't just guess what color it should be, it knows by sensing the environment directly on its skin. Cephalopods aren't just using camouflage to hide from predators. Some use it offensively, like the cuttlefish, which hypnotizes prey by rapidly flashing patterns across its body. This mesmerizing display confuses small fish, making them easier to catch. Others, like the Hawaiian bobtail squid, use bioluminescent bacteria in their bodies to eliminate their own shadows, making them invisible to predators hunting from below. Despite all these abilities, cephalopods remain vulnerable to certain predators, especially sharks, which have highly sensitive vision. But even in the face of danger, these shapeshifters have one last trick up their sleeve: ink clouds. If camouflage fails, they release a dark, mucus-filled ink, creating a smokescreen that disorients attackers and allows for a quick escape. This combination of camouflage, deception, and evasion makes cephalopods the undisputed kings of disguise in the animal world. When we think of camouflage, we often picture harmless animals hiding from predators. But sometimes, camouflage is used for the exact opposite reason: to deceive, trap, and kill. In nature, the line between survival and deception is razor thin, and some of the most terrifying predators use invisibility as their deadliest weapon. Take the anglerfish, a nightmare from the deep sea. Living in the pitch-black darkness of the ocean, it uses a bioluminescent lure to blend into the shadows. This glowing appendage attracts curious prey, which unknowingly swims right into the fish's enormous, razor-toothed mouth. Because anglerfish remain completely still, their bodies become part of the ocean floor, making their deception even more effective. Then there's the assassin bug, an insect that takes camouflage to a horrifying new level. Instead of blending into the environment, it wears the corpses of its victims. After killing ants, termites, or other insects, the assassin bug stacks their dried-out bodies onto its back, creating a grotesque disguise that lets it sneak up on its next target. This macabre camouflage not only hides the predator but also masks its scent, making it nearly undetectable. One of the most insidious examples of camouflage deception comes from the death's head hawkmoth. This moth has evolved a unique ability to mimic the scent of bees, allowing it to walk right into a beehive undetected. It then feasts on honey while surrounded by thousands of bees, none of which realize they're being robbed. This kind of chemical camouflage is rare but incredibly effective, proving that deception in nature isn't just about looks, it's about sensory manipulation as well. In the reptile world, the gaboon viper is a master of ambush camouflage. With its cryptic, leaf-like pattern, it becomes completely invisible on the forest floor. Unlike other snakes that actively hunt, the gaboon viper relies on pure stillness, remaining motionless for hours until an unsuspecting rodent or bird steps too close. When it strikes, its massive fangs, among the longest of any snake, inject a deadly dose of venom, killing prey almost instantly. And let's not forget about trapdoor spiders, the ultimate ambush hunters. These arachnids dig underground burrows and create a camouflaged lid out of soil, silk, and plant debris. When an insect walks by, the spider explodes out of its hidden lair, snatching its victim before disappearing back into the ground. Because the trapdoor looks identical to the surrounding dirt, prey never sees the attack coming. These predators prove that camouflage isn't always about staying hidden, it's also about luring, deceiving, and striking when the moment is right. And in many ways, their abilities highlight the brutal efficiency of evolution. In the wild, if you can't see the danger, you might already be dead. For centuries, humans have been fascinated by the idea of invisibility. From legendary tales of cloaks that make people vanish to high-tech military gear designed to blend into surroundings, we've long sought to replicate what nature perfected millions of years ago. But how close are we to achieving true camouflage like the cephalopods, chameleons, and master predators of the wild? Science is closer than you might think. One of the most exciting developments in camouflage technology is active camouflage, inspired directly by cephalopods. Scientists are developing materials that use electronic chromatophores, tiny flexible cells that change color at will. These materials, sometimes called bio-inspired cloaking devices, could one day be applied to military uniforms, vehicles, and even everyday fashion. Imagine wearing a jacket that shifts colors to match your surroundings, much like an octopus hiding in a coral reef. Another cutting-edge technology is metamaterial cloaking. This is not about color changing but about manipulating light itself. Metamaterials are engineered to bend light waves around an object, rendering it effectively invisible to the human eye. This concept, known as the invisibility cloak effect, has already been tested in laboratories. While current prototypes only work on a small scale, the potential is mind-blowing, a future where soldiers, spies, or even vehicles can become completely undetectable to the naked eye. But camouflage isn't just for the battlefield. Scientists are exploring bio-inspired architectural designs that help buildings blend into natural landscapes. Some structures already use photochromic materials that change transparency based on sunlight exposure, reducing energy consumption and making buildings disappear into their environment. This could revolutionize urban planning, creating cities that coexist with nature rather than disrupting it. The fashion industry is also experimenting with adaptive clothing. Researchers are working on fabrics that mimic the iridescence of butterfly wings or the reflective properties of fish scales. These materials could make clothes that adjust to temperature, mood, or even social settings, offering both aesthetic appeal and practical benefits. Imagine a dress that changes color based on your surroundings or a winter coat that darkens when it's cold to absorb more heat. Of course, with great power comes great responsibility. If perfect camouflage becomes a reality, what happens to privacy, security, and ethics? If anyone could become invisible at will, how would society regulate it? The potential for misuse is enormous, from criminals evading law enforcement to spying without detection. In the animal kingdom, camouflage is used for survival, but in the human world, it could become a tool of deception, crime, or even warfare. While we may not yet have the ability to vanish like an octopus or blend like a tiger, the future of camouflage is closer than ever to breaking the boundaries of science fiction. Whether for military applications, fashion innovation, or architectural design, nature's greatest invisibility tricks are paving the way for the next technological revolution. But the question remains, are we ready for a world where seeing is no longer believing? Camouflage is one of the most astonishing, deceptive, and ingenious survival strategies in the natural world. From insects that vanish into leaves to octopuses that shapeshift in seconds, evolution has created a masterpiece of invisibility, one that humans are only beginning to understand. We've seen how animals use camouflage for both defense and attack, turning nature into an endless battlefield of deception. Prey must hide to survive. Predators must blend in to strike. And in this constant game of survival, those who master disguise have the best chance of staying alive. But nature's camouflage isn't just about hiding, it's about manipulating perception, outsmarting enemies, and sometimes, even hypnotizing prey. It's proof that survival isn't just about strength or speed, it's about adaptation and intelligence. The smallest insect can be invisible. The deadliest predator can be undetectable. And sometimes, the most dangerous thing in the wild is the thing you can't even see. And as science tries to mimic what animals have already perfected, we're faced with an even bigger question: should humans truly master invisibility? If we unlock the secrets of perfect camouflage, will we use it for innovation, protection, or something more sinister? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain: next time you step outside, take a closer look at the world around you. The leaves, the rocks, the sand. You never know what might be hiding in plain sight. After all, the best camouflage is the one you never notice.